October 8th, 2025, a day that invited both remembrance and gratitude across science, art, sport, music, and public life. The names we remember today belong to people who lived very different lives, yet their stories share a common thread: dedication, compassion, and the pursuit of something greater than themselves. Tonight, we take a moment to look back on their journeys, to celebrate not only what they achieved, but who they were, the passion that drove them, the values that defined them, and the light they left behind. Science is not about proving that you are right, it's about asking questions that matter. Born in Dippenhall, England, in 1933, John Bertrand Gordon grew up in a time when biology was still struggling to unlock the mysteries of life. As a child, he was curious but not always encouraged. In fact, his school reports were famously discouraging. One teacher wrote that it would be a sheer waste of time for him to pursue science. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. The boy who was once told he'd never make it in science would go on to change the very foundations of biology. Gordon studied zoology at Oxford, where his fascination with the nature of cells and development began to take shape. In the 1950s, the dominant scientific belief was that once a cell specialized, once it became part of the skin, the heart, or the brain, it could never go back. Its fate was sealed, but Gordon wasn't convinced. In a small laboratory, with patience and precision, he performed an experiment that would change everything. In 1962, he took the nucleus from a mature frog cell, one that was already specialized, and implanted it into an unfertilized egg. To the astonishment of the scientific world, that egg grew into a healthy tadpole. What Gordon had proven was revolutionary. Even fully developed cells still carry the complete genetic code needed to create life from the beginning. The blueprint of the organism, its DNA, remains intact in every cell. This discovery shattered one of biology's long-held assumptions and opened the door to the field of cloning and modern stem cell research. Decades later, his pioneering work laid the foundation for medical breakthroughs in regenerative medicine, where scientists now dream of repairing damaged organs or even curing degenerative diseases. Gordon continued his research at Cambridge University, where he founded what would later become the Gordon Institute, a world-leading center for studies in cell biology and cancer. Colleagues described him as humble, patient, and endlessly curious, a scientist who believed deeply in experimentation and in giving young researchers the freedom to explore. Despite his extraordinary achievements, Gordon remained soft-spoken, often crediting luck and collaboration for his success. In 2012, 50 years after his landmark discovery, Sir John Gordon shared the Nobel Prize in Physiology, or Medicine, with Japanese scientist Shinya Yamanaka, another visionary who expanded the concept of cellular reprogramming. The award recognized not just a single experiment, but a lifetime of work that transformed how we understand life at its most fundamental level. In his later years, Gordon remained active in teaching and mentoring young scientists. His curiosity never faded. He often spoke about the value of persistence, about how failure in science is not defeat, but the first step toward discovery. When news of his passing spread in October 2025, tributes poured in from scientists, universities, and world leaders. They spoke not only of his groundbreaking research, but of his kindness, his humility, and his deep belief in human potential. For decades, Sir John Gordon's work stood as a beacon for those who dare to challenge what seems impossible. His experiments reshaped modern medicine, and his philosophy reshaped how generations of scientists view the power of curiosity itself. In the grand narrative of science, some people make discoveries that change our tools, our methods, or our technologies, but a few, like John Gordon, change how we think. Music should remind you of who you are, even when the world tries to make you forget. Born and raised in Punjab, India, Raver Jawanda grew up immersed in the rhythms and melodies of his homeland. From an early age, music was more than a hobby, it was a way of life. The sounds of rural Punjab, combined with the contemporary tunes of Bollywood and global pop, shaped his artistic imagination. Even as a child, he would mimic songs, experiment with instruments, and write small verses, unknowingly laying the foundation for a career that would resonate across continents. Raver began performing in local gatherings, cultural programs, and weddings. Audiences immediately recognized something unique. His voice carried both energy and emotion, a rare blend that made every song feel personal and alive. But what truly set him apart was his dedication. While many performers sought quick fame, Raver spent years perfecting his craft, studying lyrics, learning rhythm structures, and experimenting with sounds to create a signature style that honored Punjab's folk heritage while embracing modernity. His breakthrough came with songs like 23 Da, Chandigarh Dropouts, and Gaiety Route. Each track reflected his unique vision, rooted in Punjabi culture, yet speaking directly to the youth who balanced tradition and modern life. He explored themes of friendship, love, pride, and identity, turning everyday stories into lyrical experiences that fans could relate to instantly. As his popularity grew, Raver Jawanda's influence extended beyond Punjab. He toured internationally, performing in Canada, the UK, the United States, and Australia, where the Punjabi diaspora embraced him as a cultural ambassador. For many overseas communities, his music became a bridge to their roots, a reminder of home, heritage, and shared identity. His concerts were not just performances, they were celebrations of culture, unity, and belonging. Behind the stage lights, Raver was known for humility and discipline. Friends and collaborators describe him as thoughtful and deeply committed to his craft. He often mentored young singers, encouraging them to pursue authenticity over commercial success. In interviews, he emphasized that music is not only entertainment, it is connection, storytelling, and the preservation of memory. Throughout his career, Raver released multiple albums, collaborated with renowned producers, and contributed to Punjabi cinema, further expanding the reach of his music. Yet, he remained grounded, frequently returning to smaller venues and local festivals to connect with his earliest fans. His dedication to staying true to his roots earned him admiration and respect, both from audiences and industry peers. In October 2025, news of Raver Jawanda's passing spread across social media and news outlets, sparking an outpouring of grief and remembrance. Fans shared their favorite songs, concert memories, and personal stories, reflecting the profound impact his music had on their lives. Tributes highlighted not only his talent, but also his warmth, generosity, and the inspiration he instilled in aspiring artists. Raver Jawanda's music continues to echo across the world, from rural Punjab to international stages, from car radios to weddings and celebrations. Each note carries his essence, reminding listeners of resilience, joy, and cultural pride. His songs live on as a testament to a life devoted to art, culture, and connection. Raver Jawanda's voice was more than sound. It was a heartbeat of Punjab, vibrant, enduring, and unforgettable. He taught us that football is not just about winning, it's about understanding who we are when we play. Born in Budapest in 1941, Gyorgy Mezzi grew up during a time when football was not just Hungary's sport, it was its pride, its poetry, its heartbeat. He spent his childhood playing in the streets, learning the rhythm of the game, and studying the great Hungarian teams of the past. The golden team of the 1950s, Puskás, Kocsis, Hajduk Kuti, left an indelible mark on him. Mezzi carried that dream forward, determined to honor their legacy. Mezzi's playing career was modest but formative. As a midfielder, he learned the value of vision, timing, and strategy, skills that would later define his managerial approach. He understood that football was more than physical skill. It was intelligence, anticipation, and understanding human nature. When he transitioned into coaching in the 1970s, Mezzi's philosophy became clear. A team succeeds not only through talent, but through discipline, preparation, and unity. He emphasized collective responsibility while nurturing individual strengths. Young players admired him for his fairness, patience, and ability to inspire confidence without harsh criticism. His defining moment came in the mid-1980s when he took charge of the Hungarian national team. Mezzi set about rebuilding a squad in the shadow of past glory. He meticulously analyzed opponents, experimented with formations, and worked tirelessly to instill mental toughness in his players. His leadership culminated in Hungary qualifying for the 1986 FIFA World Cup, a monumental achievement after a long absence from the global stage. At the tournament, Hungary faced some of the strongest teams in the world. Mezzi's strategic acumen was evident as the team executed disciplined defensive play and clever attacking maneuvers. Their victory over Canada in the group stage was celebrated not just as a win, but as proof that Hungarian football still had life, skill, and pride. Beyond the World Cup, Mezzi managed top Hungarian clubs like MTK Budapest and Újpest, winning league titles and elevating domestic football standards. He introduced modern training methods, advanced tactical planning, and youth development programs. His influence helped shape a new generation of Hungarian coaches, ensuring that his philosophy would continue to impact the sport long after his retirement. Mezzi was also deeply invested in player development. He mentored many young athletes, teaching them not only technical skills, but also professionalism, resilience, and sportsmanship. Former players often recalled his calm demeanor, encouragement, and the way he made each individual feel valued on and off the field. His contribution extended beyond trophies and statistics. Mezzi became a cultural symbol of Hungarian football, a reminder of the nation's potential, its history, and the pride of playing with intelligence and integrity. Colleagues described him as humble, patient, and profoundly dedicated to the game. When Mezzi passed away in October 2025, tributes poured in from former players, fans, and international colleagues. They celebrated not just his victories, but the enduring legacy he left in Hungarian football. The emphasis on skill, teamwork and the courage to dream. Gyorgy Mezzi's life reminds us that leadership in sport is measured not only in titles, but in the hearts and minds of those inspired to carry the game forward. His wisdom, patience, and vision ensured that Hungary's football legacy would remain vibrant for generations to come. In every match, every training session, and every young player he guided, Mezzi's spirit lives on, a testament to the enduring power of passion, intellect, and love for the game. He sang not for fame, but for the heart of a nation. Born in 1953 in the small village of Nizhina, near Sarajevo, Halad grew up surrounded by the natural beauty of Bosnia, the rolling hills, the flowing rivers, and the intimate rhythms of village life. From a young age, music was a part of his everyday existence. Folk songs and sevda filled his household, and it wasn't long before Halad discovered he could carry those emotions in his own voice. As a teenager, he performed at local events, weddings, and community gatherings. His warm, emotive voice quickly captured attention. While many young singers dreamed of fame, Halad focused on authenticity, singing not for recognition, but to express the deep feelings of his people. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, he began recording his first albums, including Neku Dijamani, and Miljaka. These songs were instantly recognizable for their emotional depth and narrative storytelling. Each performance told a story of love, loss, hope, and resilience, the human experiences that transcended generations. Over the decades, Halad Beslik became more than a singer. He became a symbol of Bosnian identity. His music carried the history and heartache of the nation through times of peace and conflict. During the 1990s, when war struck Bosnia, his voice became a source of comfort. He performed for displaced families, hospitals, and even soldiers, reminding people that beauty and hope could still exist in the darkest moments. Halad's resilience was mirrored in his personal life. In 2009, he survived a serious car accident that threatened to end his career, but his determination and love for music brought him back to the stage stronger than ever. Fans marveled at his comeback, inspired by both his courage and the enduring power of his artistry. Throughout his career, Halad released dozens of albums, blending traditional sevda with modern influences. His music connected deeply with listeners not only in Bosnia, but across the Balkans and among diaspora communities worldwide. His concerts were celebrations of cultural pride, bringing together people of all ages, social backgrounds, and nationalities. Beyond the music, Halad was known for his humility, warmth, and generosity. He often mentored younger singers, encouraged aspiring artists, and remained deeply engaged with his fans. Interviews and tributes highlight his character, a man whose kindness and integrity matched the power of his voice. When news of his passing reached the public, an outpouring of grief and remembrance swept across Bosnia and beyond. Fans lit candles, sang his songs in unison, and shared stories of how his music had shaped their lives. Tributes flowed from fellow artists, media, and political figures, all acknowledging the profound cultural and emotional impact he had. Halad Beslik's voice continues to resonate today, on radio, at celebrations, and in the hearts of those who grew up with his music. His songs are more than entertainment. They are a bridge between past and present, joy and sorrow, tradition and modernity. He sang not for fame, but for the heart of a nation. And that heart will never stop beating. I have always believed that a life of purpose is measured not by the spotlight you stand in, but by the lives you touch along the way. Born in 1936 in Boston, Massachusetts, Joan Bennett grew up in a family that valued education, culture, and civic engagement. Even as a young woman, she displayed intelligence, poise, and curiosity, qualities that would shape her unique role in public life. In 1958, she married Edward Ted Kennedy, stepping into one of America's most prominent political families. Life in the public eye was never simple, yet Joan Bennett Kennedy approached it with dignity and grace. She understood the power and responsibility of visibility, using it not for self-promotion, but as a platform to support causes she truly believed in. Throughout her life, Joan became deeply involved in social advocacy and charitable work. She championed children's welfare programs, education initiatives, and community development projects. Her approach was personal and hands-on. She visited schools, supported literacy programs, and encouraged young people to pursue their potential. Friends and colleagues noted that she believed public service was most meaningful when it directly improved people's lives. Beyond her advocacy, she was a devoted mother to 3 children. Raising a family in a household constantly scrutinized by the public was never easy. She faced personal tragedy, including the loss of her son, and navigated political and media pressures with quiet strength. In every challenge, she demonstrated resilience, maintaining her integrity, her warmth, and her commitment to her family. Joan also had a deep love of the arts and literature. She engaged with writers, artists, and intellectuals, supporting creative expression wherever she could. She was known for mentoring young writers and advocating advocating for cultural programs, understanding that art and knowledge are vital to society's growth. This side of her life, thoughtful, reflective, and curious, was less publicized but equally significant. Her public appearances often combined poise and empathy. Whether attending a political fundraiser, a community ceremony, or a cultural event, Joan made an impression not by force, but through authenticity. Colleagues and friends remembered her as a woman whose quiet presence inspired trust and admiration, who could convey strength without arrogance and warmth without performativity. When reflecting on her life, one sees a story of courage, empathy, and influence. She balanced public responsibilities with private devotion, using her platform to uplift others while remaining true to her personal values. She taught us that courage is often quiet and that influence can be gentle yet enduring, a close friend once said. When Joan passed away in October 2025, tributes poured in from family, colleagues, close friends, and people from all over the world. Joan Bennett Kennedy's legacy reminds us that the true measure of a life is not only in public recognition, but in the countless ways we support, guide, and inspire others. Through her family, advocacy, and engagement with culture, she left a lasting impact. Proof that one can live with grace, purpose, and resilience, quietly shaping the world around them. Even today, her story continues to inspire, a reminder that strength, kindness, and dedication can leave a legacy as profound as any public achievement. Today, we honored the lives of 5 extraordinary individuals: Sir John Gordon, Raver Jawanda, Gyorgy Mezzi, Halad Beslik, and Joan Bennett Kennedy. As we remember them, we are reminded that time may pass, but inspiration endures. Their stories continue to guide us, in every note of a song, in every act of compassion, in every pursuit of truth and excellence. May their memory live on, not only in history, but in the choices we make and the lives we touch. Because the most powerful legacy is not what we leave behind, but what we awaken in others.